Well, my wife let me bring home another pile of rusty junk, but we're not working on this puppy today. Today I'm going to show you how to restore a steering wheel. Here's another new pile of rusty junk that showed up the other day, and this was actually a gift from a friend of mine. So, thanks Frank! So I absolutely love the 75 Astra's factory steering wheel. And I'll tell you why. It's just so 70s, and you see so many Astras and Vegas where they have put on the Vega Astra GT steering wheel. It looks like a Firebird, and I hear people telling me, why don't you do that all the time? Why I'm restoring the steering wheel, I love the look, I love how thin it is when you grab it, you just don't get that with new cars. And also, I'm doing this as cheap as I possibly can, and that means restoring the steering wheel that came with the car, which I love, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's super cracked up. A lot of people would just go out and buy another one. I can't even find Google images of these steering wheels in Pontiac Astras, so which leads me to think that they're pretty rare. I haven't found any on eBay or Craigslist or anything like that. So, I mean, most people don't even know what an Astra is. When I tell people I'm buying parts for my Astra, they assume that I'm buying parts for my GMC Safari, Chevy Astro van, Astro. So that's what we're going to do this episode. I'm going to teach you how to restore a cracked up steering wheel, save your money. Go out to swap meets, buy or sell steering wheels for 20 bucks, turn them around and flip that for 10 times what you paid for them. I've got the steering wheel off the car now, and I'll show you some close-ups of how bad the damage actually is. It is repairable, I think, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to view out all the cracks and then fill it up with some panel bond, and yeah, it's pretty bad though, but if I can fix this, then you know that you'll be able to fix yours too, so. Well, did I just ruin a steering wheel that was pretty good looking to begin with? Yes. Do I know how to fix it? I think so. Will I get it done? Eventually. The steering wheel is finished for tonight anyways. Now I gotta wait 24 hours for this panel bond to cure up, and then I'll be able to flip it over and then do the same thing with the tape, fill it up with panel bond on the other side, and then another 24 hours, then I'll be able to start grinding this and shaping it. Well, these mixing tips are $3 a pop, so while I got it out, I'm gonna fix my umbrella because I think there's some rain coming, so. All right, it's not mine. I wish it was, though. Alright, well the initial shaping of the steering wheel is done. I'll show you what that looks like. So now I've got the whole back of the steering wheel sanded down now, and I'm just going to give it another coat, and then I'm going to hit it with a heat gun. And it should cure in about 10 minutes if I just stand there with it. Okay, so that's round 2 finished of the panel bond work. I've just got my cameraman holding a heat gun on it right now. Hey, you're doing a great job, Stuart. Keep it up, bud. Yeah, that's a good distance right there, Stu. Cream soda's on me later, eh? So while the panel bond's curing up, I'm gonna tell you about this little beauty. This is a Canadian-built 1953 Pontiac Pathfinder. The entry-level Canadian Pontiac models from 46 to 53 used the front section of Pontiac sheet metal with the shorter Chevrolet wheelbase. This resulted in these cars appearing to be Chevys with Pontiac silver streaks added to the hood and trunk lid, as well as a light-up plastic Chief Pontiac hood ornament that illuminated when the headlights were on. Good luck buying one of those these days without taking out a loan from the bank. So this here is a 1953 Pontiac Pathfinder. The reason why I bought it is this. This is a 239 inline 6 and it's not stuck. I paid $300 for this car. So the plan is I'm gonna get this inline 6 running. Once the car's running and driving, I'm gonna do a couple donuts in the field up there, yank the motor and tranny out of it, or let someone else do that, and then sell that for $300, and then I have a body. This is gonna be fun. So once the engine and transmission are functional, what the plan is for this car is to pull the body off the chassis, weld the doors closed, cut the roof off it, paint it yellow so it looks like a taxi cab, slam it on the ground, and I'm actually thinking of making a hot tub out of this for the front yard. The trunk will open backwards. In the back of the trunk there's going to be an ice chest. Under the hood is going to be where the hot tub pump and heater is going to be, and on top of the heater there's going to be a towel rack, so a towel warmer. Another thing that I have in mind is in the dash where all your switches are for jets and lights inside the tub, there's also going to be headlights and taillights. It's just going to be awesome. So hit that subscribe button if that's something that you guys want to see happen. There it is! Oh man, that place is famous! Now look at this 1950 Ford coupe here. I mean, it's all about convenience. They're just thinking about the people when they designed this. Look how easy it would be to service that diff. All this access, a little bit of weight reduction in here. But they were just ahead of their time. I mean, they're thinking of saving fuel. See drag cars that are made out of like fiberglass skins, and that's pretty much what this is. It's like 31 gauge sheet metal on here. Well, I tell you, they don't make them like they used to. Let me just pop this door open here so you guys can feast your eyes on the potential. Needs upholstery, but what 70-year-old car doesn't need upholstery, right? It's lacking a little bit of structural integrity, but I mean, that'll take an hour to get that done, no problem. The door still opens and closes though. It's good as new. How we making out, Stuart? Oh, you're doing a real bang up job. Okay, back in the shop and the steering wheel is all cured up. So I have to do my final sanding today. So we're gonna start with the machine sand, and then there's gonna be a whole lot of hand sanding. It's probably gonna be the most time consuming part of this whole restoration, but it's also gonna be the most rewarding. Alright, well my steering wheel is practically finished. It has the strength now from where I added in all the panel bond to fill the gaps. All the cracks are filled up and the initial sanding and smoothing is finished. I'm not sure on the back part if there were finger grooves in this part of the steering wheel, but I went ahead and added my own anyways, because why not? So at this point, all that's left to do is there's a few little low spots and I'm not too happy with the way that this feels, but it has the strength from the panel bond. So I can scuff where it's still shiny in the low spots, and then I'm gonna use some fiberglass reinforced filler to fill that up and then sand it smooth. Then it'll be ready for adhesion promoter, primer, adhesion promoter, paint. So the trick anytime you use Duraglass or any fiberglass reinforced filler is as soon as it flashes off, start sanding it, because it sands like butter. If you walk away from it or you leave it overnight or anything, it's like sanding concrete. So just a little tip for you. .9% of the sanding work is finished, and thank goodness, it was hours. The whole steering wheel is sitting in 400 grit right now. You can see I added a little bit of polyester filler in certain areas. That's just to fill in pinholes that were left from the short strand fiberglass. Once that's sanded out, then it'll be ready for adhesion promoter. Beautiful sunny day like it is today, don't prime this inside, prime it outside. Then you won't have to wait so long between coats. Use your head. Okay, so the whole steering wheel is now in 400 grit. All the primer, I just finished sanding it, so right there is where, focus, right there is where one of the repair areas is, and you can kind of see that the finger grooves are a little bit further apart than the ones that are next to it. But of course you would never notice that unless I pointed it out. The other repair area where it was completely split is right in here. One of these, I can't even tell. So now it's going to paint. But first, more of this. Okay, well here goes something. This is going to be the last time that I paint it. Of course, that's what I said last time that I painted it, but then it fell off the stand onto the ground, so I just sanded it down and now it's ready for paint for the last time. So before I paint this thing, real quick, I gotta mention something to you guys. Before I primed the steering wheel, I had the steering wheel laid horizontally, and around the outside rim, I really pounded on the primer, and I did that on purpose because even if it does run, I knew that all the runs would collect at the tip of these little nubs for the grips. So what my theory was is more drippy, more grippy. More drippy, more grippy worked, and it is more drippy and more grippy. So because of the drippiness is greatly enhanced. Or something. So this steering wheel is finished. You can see I got a little bit of a drippy going on there, so that's going to be repaired. But besides that, you can tell the repairs that I did on the actual ring look great. Those are the new finger grooves right there. So they do look a little bit different, but no one will be able to notice that unless you've seen this episode. So, as well as the finger grooves that I repaired in the bottom. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and close those bay doors so that you guys can actually see what's going on back here. So, the back of the steering wheel looks great. It is all glossy and completely crack free. So, I would call that a great success. To be honest, I'm getting kind of tired of working on this thing. And because I'm getting kind of tired of working on that thing, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode. So thanks for watching, guys. Now you know that if you have a steering wheel that's completely cracked up, you can actually fix it. Now, going back to the intro, would I recommend that you buy steering wheels at swap meets to fix them up and sell them to make a profit? I don't think so. This took quite a long time. I mean, I know I ran into some issues and the steering wheel was pretty bad, but I don't think that it is going to be a lucrative business if that's what you really want to do, unless you absolutely have nothing better to do with your time. The steering wheel repair actually did end up costing me more money than I thought it would, so I'm going to go ahead and list all the prices, all the materials, everything that I actually spent my money on to get the steering wheel the way that it is now. I wish I could show you guys the steering wheel on the column with the column installed on the car, but because it's a steering wheel, I'm going to let that paint sit without being touched for probably like 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month. I just want to make sure that it's perfect and as solid as it can be before I start getting my fingers all over it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and stay tuned for episode 10. This episode is brought to you by EIE. It's not just another venture, it's a lifestyle. What started off as kind of a cool idea has now become international. Many different people in many different countries are rocking the EIE t-shirts. So if you want t-shirts, hats, jackets, baby onesies, you name it, visit EIElifestyle.com
or click the link in the description.